How did indentured servitude work in colonial New York? Imagine arriving in a new land with hopes of a fresh start but no money to get there. That was the reality for many early settlers in colonial New York. Indentured servitude was a common way for people to make that journey. People, often Europeans or children in public care, signed a legal contract called an indenture. This contract lasted usually between 4 and 7 years. In exchange for their work, they received passage to the colony, food, shelter, and sometimes training in a trade. The contract was a binding agreement between the servant and the master. It specified how long the person had to work, what they had to do, and rules they had to follow. During their service, they had to obey their master fully. They were provided basic needs like food, clothing, and a place to live. Marriage was often forbidden during the period of service, and running away was considered a serious crime. Masters would sometimes advertise to find runaways, making it clear how important it was to stay put. Most indentured servants were young men and women who couldn't afford the cost of crossing the Atlantic Ocean. The voyage could cost more than a year's wages in Europe. To pay for this, they agreed to work for a set time to cover the cost of their passage and upkeep. Sometimes, children from poor families or orphans were indentured, out to learn trades or be placed in households. This was a way for the city to manage poverty and labor shortages. When the term of service ended, the servant usually received what was called freedom dues. These could be land, money, or goods to help start a new life. And like slavery, indentured servitude was limited to a specific time, and the person was not owned for life. Still, conditions could be tough, and servants had limited rights during their contract. Indentured servitude helped build New York's economy. Servants worked in farms, trades, and domestic jobs. The system reflected the colony's diverse population and economic needs. It also connected to issues of poverty and immigration, as authorities used indentures to control labor and care for children. Over time, as slavery grew, the use of indentured servants decreased. But during the early days of colonial New York, this system was a key part of how the city grew and developed.